Good afternoon, Mr. Somacala.
Good afternoon, ACJ.
How are you this afternoon?
I'm fine, thanks, ACJ, and you?
Okay, no, I'm fine, thank you. I'm greeting you on behalf of everybody. So when I say I'm fine, it means we are all fine.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much for availing yourself for consideration for appointment as a judge of the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court, and thank you for joining us in this interview session, Mr. Somacala.
It's my pleasure.
Now, you hold the degrees of B. Juris and LLB, is that correct?
That is correct, CJ.
And you got both of them from the former University of Transkei, is that right?
That is also correct, CJ.
Yes, and you got your B. Juris degree in 1988 and your LLB in 1992.
That is correct, CJ.
And your working career started, you started your working career as a public prosecutor, is that right?
That is correct.
In 1989 to 1991, and thereafter you did articles with Tiki and Sons attorneys.
That is also correct, CJ.
And you were subsequently admitted as an attorney, and you joined S-Team Jolie Incorporated.
That is correct, CJ.
Yes. And later on, you became a High Court prosecutor.
Correct, CJ.
Yes. And ultimately, in 2015, you became a magistrate.
That is correct, CJ.
And you continue to work as a magistrate.
Yes, correct, CJ.
Yes. Now, for how long did you practice as an attorney?
I practiced as an attorney from 1995 until 2002, when I left to join NPA as a state prosecutor in the High Court.
Yes.
And then again in 2002, towards the end, I think in September, I joined Legal Aid, the then Legal Aid Board, which is now Legal Aid South Africa, where I remained until December 2008. And then 2009 to 2012, I practiced on my own account until I went back again to Legal Aid South Africa in 2013 until 2015.
You went back to?
Legal Aid South Africa.
Oh, okay, okay. So during the periods that you practiced as an attorney, what types of cases did you handle in terms of branches of law?
Well, our practice, whilst I was in private practice, it was a diverse practice, which involved criminal law work, civil, as well as some few administrative law work. Yeah, basically that. And also road accident fund work, that is the motor vehicle accident.
Yes, so it was some few administrative law cases.
Yes.
Road accident fund cases.
Yes.
What was the other branch?
Criminal law.
Criminal law.
As well as civil law. That is the general litigation.
Yeah, okay. Did you appear in court and do trials yourself at that time? Or did you brief counsel to do your trials and argue your matters?
I did both, ACJ. I did appear in the High Court doing trials on my own, as well as also in some other matters I did brief counsel.
Yes. Okay. And as a magistrate from 2015 up to now, Do you do civil cases?
Yes, I do civil cases, but in the district
And
court.
how much civil work do you do? How much of your time is taken by civil work as opposed to criminal work?
Well, because I'm in a rural town, there isn't that much of a civil work there, but we do have it. And as the head of office, I'm the one who is mostly in charge of it. So I cannot put the number or the figure of it. But however, if I were to put it in a form of percentage, I would say we do around about 20% civil and then 10% civil and then 90% criminal.
Yes. Now, on question or paragraph 6.2 of the questionnaire, which is paginated page 18 of the bundle, you were asked to indicate the proportion of your litigation work in the various fields. And under criminal law, you said 100%. You remember that?
I remember that, ACJ.
Under administrative law, you said 100% too. You remember that?
I remember that as well, ACJ.
Under constitutional law, you said 80%. Do you remember that?
I remember that as well, ACJ.
Under labor law, you said 10%.
I remember that as well, ACJ.
There's a problem with the...
No, I was giving that percentage based on the fact that I was thinking, that was my view in the answering of the questionnaire, about the proportionality of the bulk of the work, which I did on my own. If I were to put a percentage in it, insofar as the number of the matters,
Yeah.
I didn't put 100% as the global figure and then break it down.
What did you have in mind?
I'm saying, ACJ, I was having in mind the aspect of the number of cases in general, not having to put 100% as the global figure.
Did you mean to say 100 cases?
No, I didn't mean to say 100 cases, ACJ. I meant to say I dedicated my time 100% on this particular area. That's what I was trying to mean.
Oh, so you were saying you dedicated 100% of your time to criminal law?
Yes.
And 100% of your time to administrative law?
Yes, as presented to me.
Yeah.
In my office, yes.
Well, I'm not sure that I understand it. But have you acted in the High Court?
Yes, I did have
Yes.
acting
How did you
stint.
find the experience of acting in the High Court?
Well, it was challenging,
Yes.
but interesting as well.
Yes.
And interesting in the sense that I had been appearing in the High Court for quite a long time. So I somehow knew what I was to meet when I took the acting stint in the High Court.
Yes. And you did a lot of civil work in the High Court, civil trials and motion matters?
Yes, because during that period, I was only allocated civil court matters, no criminal court.
Yes. But I see that you actually have, it looks like quite a number of reported cases in which you were involved as an attorney. Is that right?
That is correct, ACJ.
Yes. One of them is GASA versus Minister of Safety and Security. Another one is S versus Vanga. Is that right?
That is correct.
Another one is S versus Mashiyi, and another.
But the GASA matter was a civil matter.
Was a what matter?
Civil.
Oh,
It
was a civil
it's
matter.
not
Yes,
a criminal
yes.
matter.
Yes.
However, the Mashiyi one, I didn't do it as an attorney. I
Yeah.
did it whilst I was at the office of the National Prosecuting Authority.
Yes.
Then the Varna one, I did it as an attorney.
These cases that are reported, was your involvement in them at the level of arguing them or doing trials or arguing appeals? Or you were involved as an instructing attorney and there was counsel who did the arguing?
No, I did them on my own.
You did them on your own?
Yes.
Including the CASA one?
Yes, including the CASA one. I drew the papers. I argued the matter. I appeared before the judge, and then I argued the matter on my own.
That is very good, Mr. Somacala. That's very good. And there is Ndibongo versus the state. You would have argued that yourself as well.
Yes, I did argue that on
And
my own.
and Mthatha versus the state.
I argued that on my own as well.
I think that that's very good. Yes, Judge President.
Thank you, ACJ. Purely for the sake of completeness, let me say good afternoon, Mr. Somacala.
Good afternoon, JP.
I got to know you way back in 1988-89 when I was lecturing at the University of Transkei. You were active in the Judicial Society then. Is that not the position?
That is correct, JP.
Thank you. If you have a look at the spreadsheet at pages 3 and 4, is it 3 and 4? Sorry. Pages 12. It's actually just page 12.
Yes, I've seen it.
I know you've not interrogated this document. In other words, you've not looked at your situation and compared it with that of another candidate.
No.
You haven't, yes. The situation appearing on page 12 points to you having done 5 opposed application judgments. In other words, you wrote judgments in 5 opposed applications.
Yes, JP.
And then 3 civil trials and 3 criminal appeals.
That is correct, JP.
You acted just for one stint, which is July to September
That is correct.
last
JP.
year.
That is correct, JP.
You would otherwise agree with me if I were to say that if you were to gain more mileage, it would equip you when it comes to high court work. And I'm going to qualify my question. The scenario is simply that there is no civil court work that you are steeped in the magistrate's court. But you got good exposure when it comes to high court, civil court work. Is that not the position?
That may be the position, JP.
Yes. And but for your current personal circumstances, you would otherwise be acting during this coming term or the instant term.
That is also correct, JP.
Yes. No further questions.
Thank you, Judge President. MEC Gade.
No, CJ, I'm comfortable.
You are comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions? Judge President Mlambo.
Thank you very much, Acting Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Mr. Somacala.
Good afternoon, JP.
I'm just wanting to confirm that I also know you, unless you've forgotten.
How can I forget you, JP?
You were a very proficient lawyer for Legal Aid South Africa in the Eastern Cape before you resigned. And do you recall that I personally came down to try and persuade you not to leave?
I know that, JP, as well as the CEO, I do know that they also persuaded me not to leave.
Yes. And in that role, I don't know whether it was at the time when we had created high court units, but you were dealing with all manners of cases.
That is correct, JP. And by then, the High Court unit was already in existence. In actual fact, it came as at the time I was the manager of Legal Aid.
Yes.
And I was the one who was in charge of setting it up in the King Williamstown Justice Center.
Yes. And you were the so-called in-house counsel, because all the work coming down from the office came to you as counsel and you went to argue them.
That is very much correct.
Thank you very much.
Also,
Chief
that
Justice.
if I can expand on that, during
Yes.
that period, at the Legal Aid Board, which is now Legal Aid South Africa, the Legal Aid Board was struggling into securing or employing suitable qualified counsel to do high court work. And as a result thereof, I had to do it on my own. Until such time, then we managed to persuade some certain individuals who then got to be involved and get some employment.
Thank you. And once more, ACJ, through your permission, condolences on your recent bereavement.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Commissioners on the virtual platform, and anybody with a question there? No question. Commissioner Dodovo.
Thank you very much, ACJ. Just one point that is confusing me. Page 11, you stated that, or there is a question that you are asked, whether have you ever been a member of a secret organization? And you've said yes. Can you just clarify that, because below you say no,
I can
but on top.
I can clarify
Yes.
that, Honorable Commissioner. If you look at the answer, the actual answer, which is typewritten, it says, I was never, ever, I'm not, and I've never, ever been a member. It was a question of, I would say, an error on the, a mistake on the, on the ticking of
Okay.
the box there. But that ticking of the box does not talk to the actual answer.
Yeah, and I see that. That is what I'm saying. It's confusing. Now I understand. I was wondering which secret organization was that. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I saw
think,
that. It also embarrassed me when I saw it.
Okay, Commissioner Mtolo Zepu.
Thank you, TCJ. Good day, Mr. Somacala.
Good day.
I'm just curious. I'll tell you why I'm just curious. You were doing well in legal aid, then you decided to, obviously you wanted growth, you wanted to professional growth. You went into private practice. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
What made you not stay in private practice and go back to legal aid?
What happened is, Commissioner, I went to, I left Legal Aid South Africa to go into private practice. Whilst I was at private practice then, I was scouted and approached by the chief magistrate, the then chief magistrate of the Mthatha area, or the former Transkei area, to go and act as a magistrate after long persuasions. And then having taken that, and as my practice was growing up, and then it just went nose down. So I felt that being a responsible person, having children, so for me to go back and start that practice, which has just went nose down, is gonna be a milestone.
It looks
And
like we have.
it also proved that I left, as Judge President Mlambo was saying, I left in good spirit at Legal Aid South Africa. Hence, they also did accept me back when I went back to them.
They didn't want you to go. They were
Initially,
very
in
happy
fact,
with your services.
In both instances, they didn't want me to go.
Yes. Okay, I think we have come to the end of the interview. Thank you very much, Mr. Somacala, for availing yourself. And I must particularly thank you for continuing to come to the interview, despite the fact, as I understand, that you recently lost your wife due to COVID. So we really appreciate the fact that you decided you did not withdraw. You came to the interview. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate that. And hope that you will find strength.
Thank you very much, ACJ. I also want to thank all the commissioners for having allowed me this opportunity to come here.
Yes. No, thank you very much.
Thank
You are
you very
excused.
much.
Thank you.